Good evening, Fort Collins. I'm your host, Jacky Wilson, and you've just tuned into the last episode of CTV Talks for the semester. As studying, most of the CSU community is starting to study for finals and make summer plans. Some of us have some bigger things in mind. Tonight, we're talking to some spirited seniors who are about to answer the big question of what next? Then stay tuned for some updates on those wind chills with Austin Harley. But first, let's welcome Syndi Heldmann, a soon-to-be graduate of CSU. Syndi, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's hear a little bit about your story. What made you come to CSU?
I was looking at programs that had to do with apparel design production because that's definitely what I wanted to do. And this is one of the main, only four-year programs in Colorado that had that exact program. So that's why I chose to go here.
Very cool. And what has been maybe your best year so far at CSU?
Probably my junior year. I studied abroad in Florence, so that was really exciting. And it was just good to be a junior. And yeah.
Kind of know a little bit about the place.
Yeah, you're more comfortable and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. And so you said you're studying apparel and merchandising. What got you interested in that field?
It's kind of a funny story, but when I was younger and I used to watch That's So Raven,
oh, yeah.
I used to think she was a really cool designer, and I always wanted to do that. And so since then, I kind of just had that spark. And I made my prom dresses and my mom's wedding vow renewal dress. So
really,
from that, I just knew it was something I definitely wanted to go into.
That's so cool. So you've been sewing and putting pieces together for a while now.
Yeah.
Wow, how neat. So what are your next steps then after graduation?
I have an internship that I'm going to be doing in the fall. I haven't had one lined up yet, but I have interviews that are possibilities right now, and I'm definitely wanting to go to New York for it. So.
That's so cool. And we were talking a little bit earlier about this great opportunity you might have in New York. You want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I have an interview with Vera Wing, so hopefully I get an internship there. That'd be amazing.
Wow, and how did you find such a unique opportunity?
I knew someone who internship there and now has a job there. Cool. And so I was able to kind of get my foot in the door.
Yeah, a good little connection there.
Yeah.
Nice. And so kind of looking back on your experience, what was your favorite memory that maybe kind of propelled you into what you want to do?
Probably making my mom's wedding vow renewal dress definitely sparked just being able to make something that was so special for that person and meant so much to them. I think definitely encouraged me to go after that side of the apparel industry.
That's so interesting. And also talking about you're talking about making these people happy. Is that kind of something you think that drives you toward?
Yeah, definitely. I think being able to be part of someone's big day and help them feel beautiful and confident, I think is really important. And I think that it's special.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And so what do you think is you're most looking forward to after graduation?
Probably just not having to do finals anymore.
Yes.
And focusing on what I really want to do and just being able to go after my dreams and goals and stuff.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're really confident in what you do, which is so awesome. So were you part of that fashion show that was in?
Yeah, so this spring there's a fashion show, and I designed a line in the fall for the fashion show. All the seniors, capstone designs go into it, and so, yeah, it was a really fun experience.
So cool. And what did your line look like?
It was the concept of a bride's line. So it was everything from the wedding gown to the honeymoon. So that included the wedding gown and flower girl dress and the lingerie, bathing suit, evening wear gown and cocktail dress.
How cool.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this is such a cool thing that you got to do right before graduation and so much work. Were you always kind of confident that you were going to graduate?
Yeah, there's times where it's just oh my gosh, I don't know how I did that, and you spend all night in the sewing lab and stuff like that. But it's definitely worth it, and it's something that I really loved and was passionate about. So it wasn't too much of a drag or anything. It was just more positive and upbeat the whole time.
That's so cool. And so what would you say your biggest motivator was?
Probably just always keeping in the back of my mind why I love it and what it's going towards helping like I said before, just like making that girl's day super special. And then also just going after like my dreams and goals and being able to like pursue those.
Right. Well, very cool. Syndi, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
We're keeping our fingers crossed for that Vera Wang internship.
Thank you so much.
And getting a college degree is a huge milestone in anybody's life, but we're wondering how our seniors got to where they are today. Stay tuned for a special interview from possibly the heart and soul of CTV right after the break.
I see it!
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back, Fort Collins, and thank you for staying with us on our very last episode of CTV Talks for the semester, and for some of us, for forever. Welcome our next graduating senior, Katie Spencer, station manager of CTV. Thank you, Katie, for being here.
Of course, of course.
All right, so for those of us who might not know, why did you come to CTV?
So my two choices were the University of Arizona and Colorado State. I was really leaning towards the University of Arizona because it's Arizona. It's really nice. My brother went to school there. But I came to CTV. I toured the newsroom at the time. I met the station manager. I met the advisor. I came to the studio, and I fell in love. And the rest is history.
And the rest is history. So were you intimidated? I mean, I remember as a freshman, I was kind of worried about it.
I was. My mom was like pushing me though. So I came, and I toured and I did the whole regular tour thing. And then I sat in Joe Champ, who's a journalism professor. I sat in his electronic field production class, and I kind of watched that. And then I did like the tour of CTV. And I mean, I wouldn't have gotten into it so quickly if my parents weren't pushing me, and I,
Right.
wish I thanked them for that every day, but I don't.
So did you always know that you wanted to do journalism, though?
Not really. So my parents own a production company, so I kind of grew up in the world of media. They make commercials and corporate videos and stuff. So like my junior year of high school, I kind of started to realize like I want to do something similar to what they do, but I don't want to do the exact same thing. And then I started thinking, what about being a television news reporter? And yeah, I kind of just set my sight on that and haven't looked back since.
Right. And I mean, you haven't done just reporting. You've done a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I started out the week before freshman year, and I came to CTV and did training. And then the first thing I did was run teleprompter, and then my producer came up to me and said, "Do you want to start making packages?" So I started making packages, and then that was fall semester. Then spring semester, I was like a regular anchor, a regular reporter, so I did packages every week. And then sophomore year, I became an anchor. And I've done audio, I technical direct, I've directed, I've run the video machine, I produced my own show, and now I'm the station manager. Oh, and I did weather also.
And now you're here.
And now I'm
so
here.
now you've completed all of the best things.
Yeah.
Well, with so many experiences to choose from, what would you say was your favorite?
I really enjoyed being manager this year because I got to see everyone kind of grow from, not having any experience to becoming anchors and reporters and just growing from that. But then last spring, I was also in Italy, just like our previous guest, and I studied abroad, and I did videos over there for CTV, and it was like the coolest thing ever. But so nice. I really love being back here. I love being at CSU and in my little CTV knit group.
We love having you here. But what is your dream career path?
CTV. Yeah, CTV, and then starting at like a smaller market, middle of nowhere, maybe hopefully being a reporter. Dream is like I would be the NBC News nightly anchor, like Brian Williams.
Nice.
More realistic dream, I think I want to end up as like a producer or a news director or a station manager back in Denver, because I grew up watching that, and it's the greatest.
Right. And you did say dream. So what kind of advice would you give for the people aspiring to be journalism majors?
Really work hard, get into student media, you know, just dive in. Like, it's scary and it's intimidating, but it's the most rewarding thing that you're ever going to do. Work hard, you know, not only do video, you know, write for the paper, I do a radio show on KCSU, you know, get to know web stuff, do a lot of social media, just kind of spread yourself out and make yourself available, make yourself curious, because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for really curious people. They're looking for people who actually, you know, want to get into this instead of just wanting to be on TV one day.
Right. That's really great advice. And so do you think that would be the secret to your accomplishment, is just all your involvement?
I think so, yeah. You know, I really helped, like, my parents pushing me was the greatest thing ever. Growing up around it was the greatest thing ever. But, yeah, really being a part of it was the best.
Well, we are going to miss you so much, Katie. Thanks
We're
for
gonna miss you guys, too.
being on CTV Talks. We had a celebrity here with us today. Thank you so much, Katie. With the end of the year celebrations and graduation ceremonies underway, we can only hope for warm and less windy weather in the upcoming weeks. Stay tuned for the week's weather report with Austin Harley right after the break.
The great outside.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
So shiny.
We both love the outdoors.
That's not a flower.
And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Good evening, Fort Collins. Another windy day today. We had winds on Monday, Tuesday, and they continued again today. Outside the studio, they're still going on. 21 miles an hour from the northwest right now, with gusts up to 32 miles an hour, all out of the northwest, which is bringing those frigid temperatures straight out of Wyoming. 46 degrees right now outside the studio, partly cloudy skies. This is all thanks to a system that is over to our east, and it's certainly creating plenty of wind over these last few days. It's very slow moving, so we have those winds 20 in Fort Collins, 16 in Boulder, 9 out of the north in Evergreen up in the mountains. As you move farther west across the state, the winds decrease because that system has slowly moved eastward across the U.S. You can see that tonight we'll have wind advisories continue out on the far eastern plains. Yesterday we had those over here, and the day before they consisted almost all of the state. So you can see this system is making some slow progress away from Colorado. Right now, those 65-mile-an-hour winds out on far eastern Colorado. We also have a freeze warning down south where if you have sensitive plants, be sure to bring those indoors tonight, as temperatures will be very much below normal for this time of year. This low-pressure system here is what is wrapping around and bringing those north winds straight out of the north into Colorado, also creating some very severe weather out on the East Coast. Tornadoes over the last few days have been plentiful with this system. As we continue this evening, you can see that those breezes will still be lingering. Also a chance for snow in the mountains, 1 to 4 inches this evening. No chance of rain or snow down here on the plains, though. 31 is the low here in Fort Collins, 32 in Denver. Very cold this evening, not as warm as it usually would be. You can also see that tomorrow, 58, very warm, and then we have a big warm-up in store for the weekend. We have to get through those winds tomorrow first. But on Friday, we'll have a little bit of wind, nothing too like we've had recently, but 72, then upper 70s on Saturday and Sunday, and 80s on Monday, Jackie. I'm literally so excited.
I cannot wait. I'm so over the wind.
Me too. And I mean, what a great way to wrap up finals, right?
No
With the
kidding.
beautiful weather.
Exactly. And you know, Austin, it's been such a long semester, and we really wanted to thank all of our crew members for all the support that they've given us and all the help that they've done behind the scenes.
I know. You guys never see them, but Jackie and I see them every day. Cassie O'Neill, Crew Shirts, Anna Tessitore, Kyle Thornburg, and Callie Vara, as well as Star Donaldson, all great staff members that really keep us on the air and really make this such a great show.
Exactly. And a special thanks to our station manager, Katie Spencer. She has been such a wonderful support system, so thank you very much, Katie, for all that you've done for us.
Yeah, we really appreciate you, Katie. Thanks again. And that'll be the last show of the semester, so for the last time, I'm Austin Harley.
And I'm Jacky Wilson. Thank you for tuning in.
Have a good night and good luck on finals.